In a Fox Business exclusive, we want to bring in AOL co-founder Steve Case because, Steve, not only is this a personal user issue, it's a business issue here. Yahoo may now be left at the altar by Verizon, who proposed to buy the core business for about $4.8 billion back in July. Is this deal off?
Hard to say whether the deal's off. I'm sure Verizon's taking a hard look at this new information and probably at least trying to figure out a way to renegotiate the price down lower. So I think it's partly the size of this breach of the billion users and also some of the timing, the fact that it happened 3 years ago. So I'm sure Verizon will be interested, maybe the Attorney General as well. What did they know and when did they know it? And that'll be, I think, a focus in the coming days and weeks.
If you were running Verizon, Steve, would you say, Diane, enough, I got to get out of here with the shirt off my back?
I'm not sure. I think there are some strategic reasons. They decided, obviously, to buy Yahoo, and it can complement some of the other things they now own. So I think they're strategic. They still like to own it. They might want to pay a lower price. They obviously will need to understand the ramifications of this, including any legal risks associated with it. So I don't know exactly how they're thinking about it. My guess is they still would like to go forward, but they're trying to digest this new information and either reprice the deal or potentially walk away from the deal. We'll see.
Well, I would say, yeah, I mean, a discount if nothing else. But when you talk about, let's just educate our viewers a little bit, a breakup fee. I was piecing through this 360-page, was it, or even more, I think, report that Yahoo had put out where they said, look, we'll pay Verizon $145 million if we walk away from the deal. Interestingly, it also says that if Yahoo doesn't live up to what Verizon thought it would, Yahoo owes Verizon $15 million. It's certainly not as much, but man, when you look in this, you saw that 5 top executives, including Marissa Mayer, would have gotten about $89 million in a golden parachute. $44 million of it to go to Marissa Mayer. This whole thing looks like it needs some scaling down, or at least a haircut.
We'll see what happens. And I think those numbers in the deal are part of it. There's also something in all these big acquisitions, all these big transactions, a material adverse change clause, and the question is whether this could trigger that, would make it easier for Verizon to walk away. So again, I don't know what they're thinking. My guess is they're using this, they're trying to digest it, try to understand some of the implications in terms of consumers and their trust of the Yahoo brand, in terms of some of the legal risks. But if I had to bet, they probably will end up going forward, but at a lower valuation.
Is our information safe, Steve? I mean, this is a rhetorical question because obviously it's not. But if right now somebody watching has a Yahoo account, is it safe from this day forward? Not so much?
I think in general it's safe, but I think this will become more digital. It's one of the things I talked about in my book, The Third Wave, as we move into a world where we have more connected devices. The Internet of Things is not just about your PCs like the first wave or your smartphone the second wave. It really is a series of different sensors and devices. These issues around privacy, encryption, safety, the risk of hacking, even the risk of cyber terrorism are going to go up, which is why it's so important that the innovators in places like Silicon Valley deal with sort of the policymakers in D.C. and other places to strike the right balance so we get all the benefits of these new technologies and these new devices, but also can hedge against some of the risks.
Well, let me get to President-elect Donald Trump, because yesterday he held this meeting, as you know, with big tech leaders, and he uttered those words that Ronald Reagan said you should be careful of. I'm the government and I'm here to help, and not in so many words, but he said, look, we're going to help you guys. We want to make things easier. I'm just not sure for a lot of those companies who do business overseas, if he freezes up trade deals, how do you view what he has said to the big technology leaders in Silicon Valley?
I think it's a step forward. I give President-elect Trump credit for inviting them. I give them credit for going, and it sounds like a constructive discussion where he's trying to kind of hold out a hand, build a bridge. There have obviously been a lot of things said during the campaign on all sides, and he's trying to say, well, I'm the President-elect. I'm going to be the President. I want to work with you to continue to drive innovation. One of the things I think it was great that he focused on was trying to drive innovation all across the country. There's too much focus in places like Silicon Valley. We need to also focus on the entrepreneurs, what we call the rise of the rest cities, and focus more on investing in them and in creating jobs in those places, which will help address part of the concern that we saw in this election. A lot of people do feel left out, left behind by globalization and digitization. So in this third wave, we need to invest in everybody everywhere, not just people in Silicon Valley or New York City or Boston.
It's great to see you, Steve, and I wish you the happiest of holidays. Thank you so much for coming on exclusively.
Good to be with you.
Anytime. Steve Case, the AOL co-founder, and of course, now the founder of Revolution. He's the chairman.